Hey.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to podcast today. I just get more excited every time we kind of do it and put out episodes. So it's going to be a good day. Today we're going to talk about the important questions you need to ask yourself before hiring someone to manage your clients, someone like us.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to Happy Clients.
So whether it's hiring a project manager or a client-facing account manager or even a virtual assistant, there's some things that we see across agencies that are kind of trends. And we just wanted to fill you guys in on what those things are that we see and how you can prepare yourself inside of your agency to be ready to hire, because not everyone is.
Yeah, we look for things like this to work with somebody, but then also to not work with somebody too, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to work on it a little bit more and then, come back and visit. So definitely kind of kicking it all off, Taylor, what do you feel like is kind of the ringleader in these important questions you need to ask yourself as an agency owner?
Yeah, I think it comes down to the biggest thing that I see is being ready to delegate. And it sounds like so general, but you have to actually be at a point in your agency where you're ready to take that next step. You don't want to just hire someone because it's what you're told to do in your training program, or this is what everyone else does in the industry is hire a client account manager. You personally, as the agency owner, have to be ready to let things go. And it's really hard. And I think that's kind of the big step that you have to take before even thinking about reaching out to us or hiring someone inside of your agency.
It's twofold, right? Like you have to just be in like a headspace, but then you also have to be in an agency space where like, if I can kind of give up a little bit of this control, let somebody do this for me, then I can actually grow and scale so much more. So it's like, you have to kind of work both angles, like do it for yourself for sure. And then just make sure once you do that, that you can kind of start growing and scaling, and then, kind of proof is in the pudding, right?
And also it helps your team members, because if you're hiring somebody and they come in and you're just kind of hovering over them, micromanaging, that's not fun for anybody either. So you have to be at the point where you're ready to let go, obviously train them, but let them take the reins.
I think in the best situations, like when client account management like really thrives, is when those people are, it's not like so hot and cold. It's like a warm up to letting them, they really embrace the teaching and they love their clients so much. So they're excited to like kind of be like, oh, insert cam name here. Oh, Taylor, like this client has like 4 cats and they love their kids and they have this great business, and like they can actually be excited about handing that off to somebody. So I find that's when the real magic happens.
Yeah. Another thing that's important to note as an agency owner is you have to have clients. And we talk about this a lot throughout the Happy Clients podcast, but we need some clients to manage. So you have to have them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and kind of even to my earlier point, like we've worked with people, they're like, I need my client account manager first. Then I'm just going to get all the clients, like 5 in the next month and 10 the month after. Like,
yeah, you have to have clients first, which is fine. And, we've learned that one. And I think personally, from agency owner to agency owner, it kind of squashes your momentum. If you don't have clients, you don't have a pipeline, you don't have, new business coming in, why are you going to spend a bunch of money and invest in a full-time employee or a part-time employee if you don't have clients? So I wouldn't suggest hiring someone straight out of the gate unless you have a full pipeline or you have a bunch of clients on your roster.
Totally. And that's even a good sort of stepping stone too, right? Like, that this is a pain point in your business. You can't handle this and scale at the same time.
Yeah, you have to be at that point.
Why people come to us, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think another point to make, and you mentioned it already, Katie, is that if you want to scale and you have these goals of growing your business, then it's a good time to bring in someone to manage your clients. But if you just want to keep your agency small and you want to be the head honcho, talking to clients, project managing, then maybe hiring someone as a client account manager isn't for you. And I think that's really important that you have to realize yourself. I know for me, when I started Dot and Company, I was at that crossroads. I was trying to figure out, do I just want to do this myself or do I want to grow a team? Because you kind of have to pick for it to make sense from a business perspective. So you have to really think about, what are your long-term goals? Where are you going with this business? And then start to hire based on that.
Yeah, I think that's actually like a really cool point where like step A gets you to step B, right? And then you're thriving and you're growing, and it's actually an important piece to sort of help that growth. Again, if it's the kind of missing link, right? And usually the client work is sort of the time suck and is, people can take communication super personally. So it often is sort of the piece that is the bottleneck. So yeah, it kind of stops the growth sometimes. So it's important to acknowledge that as well.
Yeah. So you have to pick, and when you're ready, hiring a client account manager is a game changer, but you have to be kind of ready for that growth.
Yeah. And I think actually just like contrary to that, there's people that think they need a client account manager and they probably just aren't really ready or in a good sort of headspace to allow that to happen, which is like, maybe they like to be in control of their clients. Maybe they like having a touch point and being, the face of the agency and, that certain go-to person. That's definitely happened in the past too, where people just can't quite let go. So it's good to see both sides of the coin, I guess. So they say like, will you actually be able, and I guess that's like our earlier point, but will you actually be able to fully step out, but also like give up that kind of control sometimes, or that it's an intimate piece, like talking to the people that are bringing you in money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is definitely on the list to consider.
Yes. And kind of a segue. So Katie at Dot & Company works with our client account managers, but also the agency owners to make sure they're happy. So Katie, let's talk about when a CAM starts working in an agency. What are some of the things that you see that maybe agency owners weren't ready for, or they didn't anticipate when it comes to bringing someone in?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a scenario where people and we try to prep them as much, but people want to just like hands up, forget about clients. Like, here, it's on your plate, go for it. Do what you got to do, work your magic. And that actually doesn't always have the best benefits, because you need to work with the agency owner to get into their groove, to get into their sort of systems and what they like to do, and then just like duplicate that, like clone the agency owner. So we do see that from time to time. I will give a huge shout out to Carly, because she's the one sort of vetting these agencies and making sure that they're a good fit for us. And then people actually think that client account, or not people, agency owners think that client account managers can kind of like be the go-to person and be the person in charge in a week. But I will say sort of, or a short period of time, I will say sort of the lifetime of a CAM, especially in the first month, it is a new agency. And while we all know how digital marketing agencies work, everyone is super different and special. So we need to really absorb that. Month 2, we're getting into taking a little bit more control, making those decisions. And I would say, mid month 2 to month 3 is kind of that sweet spot of like, okay, we've got it. The CAM's ready to hop in, and that actually the agency owner is super confident in that piece too, where they feel like they've contributed to their success. They're totally confident in leaving them with clients, and that doesn't quite happen overnight as maybe they want, but then with a little bit of time and effort and some, I guess, some teachings along the way, it definitely actually helps long term, because then the CAM's super confident in not only making decisions, but knowing the information to rely to the client in the way that the agency wants it. So it doesn't quite happen overnight.
Yeah, so I think that makes sense, Katie. Hiring a client account manager is obviously amazing. We know that.
But the training piece can look different from one agency to another. It's not like you're taking a piece of software and embedding it right into your agency and people are, good to go the week. There's training. We're humans. Things need to be trained. We make mistakes. We need to learn from you. So I think, Katie, you're right. Like that kind of transition piece takes time.
I think what I
that.
find in agencies too, that once their client account, like humble brag, we don't have a huge churn rate. So as agencies do sort of grow and scale, then their processes look different too. So like, what a cool investment in a team member that can help you with the new processes and the new systems as you grow, because they actually have the knowledge of like how it worked, how it can be better, and like what is really going to move the needle. Like that is pretty cool too when we see that happening, and where sometimes where CAMs start and where they finish is just like completely different, and a really sort of cool contribution from the CAM.
Yeah, cool. So any other thoughts for an agency owner who's thinking about hiring someone to manage their clients in the near future? Katie, what are your thoughts?
I think the piece is to really sit back and reflect, like, will this be a good decision for me? And if you can lean in and understand that, working with somebody doesn't quite happen overnight, and you're going to teach them and learn with them, and they're going to be a really valuable piece. I think if you can step back and really see that value, then, you're ready, you're there. If that's going to be difficult and gives you kind of those pits in your stomach, then maybe wait a couple months.
Well, that was great. I hope this gives you agency owners an insight into if and when you're ready to outsource your client management. And of course, if you need help with that, or you already have someone on your team that you need help training, we are here to help at Dot & Company. So reach out. We'd be happy to have a chat and see if we could help you.
Totally.
Thank you for listening into another episode of the Happy Clients Podcast. Until next time,
cheers.
Cheers to happy clients.